Hi and welcome. In this video, we are going to learn how to find and fix orphan users in SQL Server. And the contents in this video are: we'll see the concept of orphan user, exceptions to the rule, how to check orphan user in a database, scenarios of becoming an orphan user, solution for each scenario with demo. I am going to show you 5 solutions to remove orphan users. So let us begin the session. In general terms, what is an orphan? You may simply say a child who has lost his or her parents, or a child who is not having a parent. Similarly, in SQL Server, we can call this child as a database user, and we can call the parent as a server login, and we need to map login with the database user. How do we map the login and user? We map them not by their names. We map them using security identifiers, SID. We may have a different SID for both login and user. We need to make the SID same for both login and database user to eliminate orphan user. And there are 5 solutions for it. And the definition of orphan user is a database user for which the corresponding SQL Server login is undefined or is incorrectly defined on a server instance, cannot log into the instance. Such a user is said to be an orphan user. Or simply, we can say the user has lost mapping with the login, or the login may be dropped. Let me show you using a diagram. Let me have a SQL Server instance. This is the instance. In this instance, I have a login and a database. In this database, I have one user. Now, if login wants to access this database, he need to come to this database using user account. Once we map this login with the user, this login need not to authenticate himself to access the database. I have made a video on how to create a login in SQL Server and also roles present in the SQL Server. I will leave a link in the description and you can watch from there. And we do have exceptions for the login to access the database, and those are: the first one is contained database users. In contained databases, users authenticate at the database level and are not associated with any logins. Next exception is using guest account. Without creating a user in the database, the login can directly access the database using guest account, but guest account should be enabled because it is disabled by default. I'll show you this. This is my server. In this I have one database. Let me take this database. When you go to security and users, you can see here guest. This guest account is disabled. You can check here. You can see that red mark which is disabled. How we enable this guest account I have clearly explained in my previous video, that is roles in SQL Server. I'll provide you link in the description. You can watch from there. Next exception is Microsoft Windows Group memberships. A SQL Server login created from Windows user can enter the database if the Windows user is a member of Windows Group, and that is also a user in the database. These are the exceptions for the orphan users. Next is, what are the cases where a user be orphan? I mean the possible scenarios where user will become orphan. The first one is when we take a database backup and restore. Only users are restored but not the logins. I will show you using demo. And the next scenario is when we move logins during migration. The logins are moved and the database is also moved, but the SID will be not same for both login and user after migration. There will be SID mismatch. Next, the database user is mapped to a login that is not present in the master instance. So this means a user is mapped to another login where SID is not same. Even if we create a login, a new SID will be given to the login from the master instance, and we are supposed to match that login SID with the user SID in the database. And next scenario, a user may also become orphan if the corresponding SQL Server login is dropped. Suppose everything is fine and we have mapped both login and user SID same, and later what happened, and login has been deleted. In those cases also, the user without login is orphaned. To eliminate orphan users in all these possible scenarios, we are going to discuss 5 solutions, and those are: first one, we use autofix; second one, update one; create login with user ID; and stored procedure sp help underscore rev login; and data migration assist. We are going to discuss each one by one using demo. We'll start with autofix. In all these cases, what we are trying to do is we are trying to match the SID for both login and user. First let me take a database backup and restore in one server. Going back to SSMS. This is my instance. In this instance, I have some list of databases. For an example, I am going to take database sample 201. In this 201, I have 8 users. You can see here test 1 to 8, and I have given few permissions for these 8 users. And remember, when we migrate a database or when we take a database backup and restore in other server, the database level permissions gets migrated. It means the user can perform the same operations on the new server at database level, not on the server level. No logins will get migrated when you take a database backup. We also discuss how to migrate logins in this video only. Please do watch till the end. And here for test 1, this is a user, and for him we have given data reader. That means he can only read the data in this database. Similarly, I have given for test 2 to 8 different permissions at database level, and the relevant logins for these 8 users also exists in this database. You can see here, let me minimize this. Here go to security logins, and you can see here the 8 logins exist here, right? Now I am going to take a backup of this database. I am going to do it using command. This is the command backup database sample 201. Execute the query. The backup has been processed successfully. Now restore this backup in other instance. This is the instance. Before I restore, let me show the logins present in this server. Go to security logins, and I don't have any logins here, right? Anyway, we are not going to migrate any logins using backup and restore, and we have list of databases, only 3 databases. Now restore the database. This is the command restoring database. New query, restore, or you can also do using GUI. Restore database, select device, browse the path. This is the path, take it, and okay. If you want, you can also change the path here. Restore path, let me give another drive, giving the another drive here. Give the file name sample201.bak, give the extension. Similarly for, you need to give mdf.mdf. This is mdf file, and this is ldf file, and restore. Restore successfully, and you can see here it has come. Okay, so we have a database ready. Let us see whether all users are migrated or not. Go to sample 201 security users. See, all 8 users has been migrated, and no logins will get migrated. When you check logins, no logins are present, right? So all these users under sample 201 are orphaned. You can check the list of orphan users using a command. This is the code. Execute sp underscore change underscore users login report. This is a stored procedure. It lists the orphan users with their security identifiers, which is SIDs. Executing this code. You need to execute in the database, not in the master. So we are to select sample 201 database. for this. This is our restore database. Now execute the query. So we have test 2, test 1 to 8, and these are associated SIDs for the user. These are the list of orphan users in the server in this sample 201 database. If you want to check the orphan users in other database, you need to go and search for another database and execute. There are no orphan users in the school database, but I have orphan users in sample 201 database. Now we are going to fix these 8 orphan users. First one, using autofix. Database user is mapped with the same name SQL login, or we may also create it also creates the login if the login is not present. So this autofix is useful in both cases. Login exists, what it will do. Login does not exist, what it will do. We'll see the first scenario. If login exists and both SQL login name and username are same, then we are going to execute this statement. What this will do is, it will make same SIDs for both login and user. Next, if login does not exist, then the stored procedure is going to create a login with the same name as database username. In any of these methods presented above, we have to perform these operations on single database at a time. We cannot perform this on multiple databases at a time. And to execute this autofix statement, the user must have sysadmin fix role server. Let us see a demo. So here we have 8 logins, 8 users and no logins. So we'll see what if login does not exist. So test1 login does not exist here. We are going to create test1 login. For that, go to security, new login, giving test1 login, and remember to use this autofix statement. The login name and username must be same. That is the reason I am giving test1 and OK. Now we have a login test1, and the SID for the test1 will be different from the test1 user. I'll show you. To display existing logins along with SID, we use this script server principals, and for users we use database principals. For login, execute the statement. It will give you everything, but I need only for test1. For that, I use where clause. Let me execute both statements at a time for login and user. And you can see here, SID for login is ending with 75, but for SID of user it is ending with 05. It means both SIDs are mismatch. That is the reason this user is orphan, and we need to map the login SID with the user SID. So what autofix will do is, it will assign the login SID to the user SID. And the command is, we need to execute the stored procedure, use the stored procedure autofix, and here you need to give the username, which is test1. Since login name and username is same for both, we can execute this statement to make the SIDs match. Remember here for login it is 75. This 75 will come to user. Let me execute this. You can see here it is fixed by updating its login link to a login already in existence. Now execute this statement and check. See here, login SID and user SID has become same. Now this test1 user is no longer an orphan. You can check this by using this statement. Execute, and test1 has gone. Now the orphan users are only 2 to 8. One has been removed from the orphan list. So this is a case where the login exists. Suppose if login does not exist, then we need to execute this statement. sp underscore change underscore users login autofix, give the username, which is test1. Let me do it for test2 because we have already done for test1, and here give the password. This statement will automatically create a login with the username. This is test2. Let me execute this. You can check here, it is only test1. When I execute this, you can see here it has been done successfully. A user was added. When you refresh this, you can see, refresh, go to security, logins, you can see test2. The login will take the user SID, and you can check the list of orphan users now. Test2 will be removed from the list of orphans. Right? Now we have left with only 3 to 8. So this is how we use autofix statement if login exists and login does not exist. In this case, we are just matching the login SID with the user SID. Here we are going to create a login with the SID of user, and it has been done automatically. That is the reason it has got a name autofix. Now we'll see the second method. So what if the username and login name are different? In autofix, we have to give same name for login and user. So here is the one. If login already exists or login is created in a server with different name or same name, we can use this update one for both scenarios. What this statement makes is it makes the same SID for login and user irrespective of their login names. Suppose if you give here some username and login name, the username will get the login SID. It links specified database user to an existing SQL Server login. Here it will not create a login, it will only match the SID of the login to the user. Let us see a demo. Here I have a login SQL1, and what I am going to do is I am going to map this login SQL1 with the user test3. Let me show you SIDs for both. Here login is SQL1, and here it is user is test3, and you can see SIDs are different for both login and user. We are going to use update one for this. This is a script. Use update one. Here give the login name. Our login name is test3 and username is SQL1. SQL1. Execute this. Has been done. Now you can check the orphan users. Test3 will be gone. See, and there is only 4 to 8. Test3 is no longer an orphan user, and you can check the SIDs now. Now the SIDs are same for both login and user. This is used when we have a different login and a different username. But it is a better practice to give login name and username same. Next we'll see the third solution. We create a login with user ID. If login does not exist or login has not been created before, we create a login with the user SID. What we do is we execute this command and we get the SID from the database. This is the script where you can get the SID of the database. Let me show you a demo. At present we have 5 orphan users. Let me do this for test4. For test4, login does not exist. You can check here. There is no login for test4. So what I am going to do is I am going to create a login for test4 using SID of the user. You can either use this script or this script. Select name SID from database principles to get the user SID. Copy user SID and create test4 with password, this password and SID. Collect from here. I have already copied. I am pasting here. So you are directly going to create a login with the user SID. Login has been created successfully. You can check here. Test4 has been created, and you can check the report of orphan users. Test4 has gone because we have created a login with the user SID, and you can check the user SIDs for both are same now. Sorry, here also test 4. Both SIDs are same. Here you can also give any other name other than same username, doesn't matter. Okay, let us see the fourth solution. There is a stored procedure sp help underscore web login which is provided by Microsoft. Using the script we can generate a login script to create a login in the destination server. What it will do, it will copy the SID, it will collect the SID from the user database along with the password. The advantage is the login is moved along with the password and SID, and the process is, so this is the link which I will share you in the description to download the stored procedure script for this stored procedure. And what we do is we run this code in the source server and then execute the stored procedure. After that we copy the login script for the users and then paste it in user database in destination server. Let me click this. So this is a Microsoft website where I can copy the script. Let me copy it. I have copied. Now go to the source server. Here my source server is this. Let me close this. This is the source server. Go to source server and take a new query and paste this. Run the query. It has been successfully completed. Now run the stored procedure. So this is the stored procedure. Run this. It has given the login script for users. You can see here. So let me take, so user test 4 has been completed till now. Let me take test 5. Copy this code. Now go to destination server. This is the destination server. New query and paste login script here. What it is doing? It is collecting the password for the login. Here you no need to set the password. The user can directly log in with his own password, and it is also collecting SID of the user from the database. Just run this query. The login will automatically gets created. Given some extra comma here. Let me remove it. Execute the query. Create login. Before I create, let me show you the list of orphan users first. Let me run the query. So the SID is ending with D4. Testify is still an orphan user. So see, you can see the SID here. It is D4. The same SID it has collected from the database. Now execute this query. Command has been completed successfully. Now you can go back to orphan users list and you can check. Test 5 will be gone from the list of orphan users. Right? Test 5 has been gone. And user can directly log in with his password. Let me show you that. Test 5, the same password which is given in the previous server. Test 5 has been successfully logged in. And he can access the database also with his permissions. The permissions also gets migrated. You can see here table, can access the table. The user is given only select statement permissions, not the other permissions like delete. And you can see here the permission has been denied, the delete permission. And the disadvantage of this stored procedure is it will not migrate login. It will just give you a script to create a login with the user SID. No server level permissions, no server level logins will be migrated. All the 4 methods till now we have discussed, these 4 methods are not going to migrate your logins along with server level permissions. For that we have the 5th solution, which is data migration assistant tool, which we call DMA tool. You can download it from the link. I'll provide you the link in the description. So the beauty is users are moved along with their logins and the server level permissions. We have an option to migrate selected logins using this, but we don't have an option to choose the users of the database. It means we can only choose which logins can be migrated, but not the users. Let us see a demo for this. You can download it from the Microsoft website. Here you can click here and it's get downloaded, and installation procedure is very simple. You can just click next and so on. It will get installed and it is free from Microsoft. No need to pay anything, or any pro versions are available. It's a free from Microsoft. You can download and use it. This is the data migration assistant. Before going to here, let me go back to SSMS and select let me show you the source server and destination servers and the relevant logins. Let me disconnect this. Let me choose a different database now. Let me take this Suzuki database, and the users present in this database are, there are no users. Let me give 2 users, 2 or 3. Along I'll do one thing. I'll just create some logins so that I can create users also. Go to security. These are older logins. Now I'm going to create new login, admit one, and give some password. And here I am choosing sysadmin. Okay, for this user, and user mapping Suzuki. User automatically gets created when you select this and click OK. Remember, for this admin one I am giving only sysadmin role. It means he can do anything at the server level and also at the database level. And OK, let me create another user, new, admin 2, and in server roles I am giving only DB creator. And let me map the user in database level also, Suzuki. Okay, let me add another user and give only database level permissions. And at server level I am not giving any permissions, but I am giving permissions at the database level, Suzuki and data reader. Okay, I have created total 3 users, and you can see the users at database level also. I am going to use this server and this database, and I am going to migrate this database to this database. Go to data migration assistant, click on plus symbol, migration, give the details, select source type SQL server and target is also SQL server, create, give the source server details. This is the source server, this is the target server, and tick this checkbox and go to next, connecting to the server. And here you can select the list of databases. You can select all databases or one database. I am going to select the Suzuki database. Here give the share folder name, and this share folder should have read and write permissions for both source and target. I have created a share folder here. This is my share folder. This is a computer name and this is the folder name in one of the drive. And click next. Now the third step is you need to select logins. So total I have 22 logins. I can select all logins or I can select only particular logins. I want to migrate these logins, admin 1, 2 and 3. That's all, not everything. Along with these logins, the server level permissions also gets migrated. I will show you. Start migration, click here. Successful. Migration has been successful. 3 in progress. Logins are getting migrated. The 4 operations has been successful. 1 database along with 3 logins. Migration has been complete. Now go to your destination server. This is my destination server. Check here. Go to databases. Refresh. And you can see Suzuki database. And now check the logins here. Go to security, logins. You can see the logins. Admin 1, 2, 3 has been migrated. In our previous 4 solutions, logins are not migrated. Here we can see the logins are migrated along with the login permissions. The user can directly log into his account. Nothing to do here in this case. Just migrate and leave it. The password, the SIDs, the permissions, DB level permissions, the server level permissions, everything is migrated. So it is just a replica of your source. I'll show you one. So let me log in with admin1. Admin1 password, I have given same password in the source server and I am able to connect to the server. Go to databases. If you remember, the admin1 is given sysadmin level. It means he can do anything at the server level. He can connect to any databases. I'm able to connect to the databases and access the tables. Even though the admin1 is associated with sample 201 database, since he is given sysadmin role, he can do anything at the system admin level. That is, he can also access the databases, other databases other than the Suzuki, right? Not this database. Go to Suzuki. He can access the database, but he cannot view the tables inside it. We have two tables, department and student table. But he can create a database. You can check here. Create database. Right. He can create a database. And he cannot access any other databases, or he cannot do anything other than creating database, right? I hope you have understood the concept of these 5 methods. Which method did you like? Please comment below. Please